Hey, sports history fans, this is Ariel Gonzalez from Wrestling with Heels On. Hey, when you go to a sporting event, you don't go there to be meek and mild, unless you live in Japan. You go there to get freaking wild. That means bringing some attitude to your amplitude. How do you do that? You get Racket. R-A-K-I-T. Racket combines a compact 7-inch megaphone, 8 powerful adjustable LED lights, noisemakers, an insert you design, and it's all fully customizable to match your team's colors. Now here's the coolest thing about this product. J.J. Abraham, the founder, was the ultimate cheer dad. He followed his daughter's cheer group around the country, and he saw parents struggling using all sorts of crazy contraptions to make some noise for their kids. And then he had an aha moment. He thought, wait, why not combine all of these doodads into an all-in-one compact device for the ultimate fan? JJ and his team worked 3 years on developing version after version after version until they finally landed on Racket, R-A-K-I-T, so you can make some noise and cheer and be a part of the action. So get out there and let's get loud. Bring a racket to your next game or competition to cheer on your favorite team or athlete. You can customize your racket with your own logos, drawings, and names. Get beads to match your team's colors. Flashing lights add to the excitement. Are you ready to make a racket? Be part of the game. Each racket pack comes with 1 racket megaphone, 1 lanyard to keep a hold of the thing, 2 scratch-resistant bead packs, 1 clear and 1 color of your choice, and a 10-pack of customizable self-adhesive inserts. Currently on sale, wait for it, $24.99. To pick up your racket today, head to myracket.com. That's myraket.com. Now get out there and make some noise. Is us.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
The Rose Bowl. The game that inspired the college football bowl season has a long and storied history. The stadium itself is 100 years old, and in celebration of it, Pigskin Dispatch is assembling some of the top historians and authors to share the memories, people, and events that make the granddaddy of them all the special game that it is. Enjoy this Rose Bowl memory from pigskindispatch.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of pigskindispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history. And we are in the month of December. And this year we are covering the Rose Bowl all month long. This is the 100th anniversary of the stadium. And we have some great guests and historians coming on to talk about some of the greatest topics of this great stadium and venue to watch a football game. And tonight is no exception. We have Chris Willis from NFL Films. Chris, welcome back to the Pig Pen.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate being on here talking about the Rose Bowl.
Hey, Chris, you are author of many great National Football League books with some great legends of the game. Your latest is Bronco Nagurski, which we had you on about a month ago to talk about, and people are really enjoying that book. And I know I really enjoyed it. So you've got a topic of the Rose Bowl, but you have a little bit of an NFL spin on it, and we'd love to hear all about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you're honoring, such a sort of historic stadium. There's a few stadiums that are around that are still 100 years old. So the Rose Bowl obviously, has a, steeped in tradition, and especially in the college game, and, especially with the Rose Bowl game itself and stuff. But it does have, a little bit of NFL feel to it, and the main thing is that it's hosted 5 Super Bowls, so that's it's one of the it's been a while since they've hosted one. I think the 1992 season was the last time, but it was in heavy rotation there early, with five, between 1976 and, 1992 and stuff. So it does have a little bit of an NFL feel to it. If you go there for the Rose Bowl or college, you can, hey, wait a minute, there was some Super Bowl champions crowned here, during the time.
Yeah, people don't really think about the Rose Bowl in that respect. And I'm glad that you brought up this topic because, like you say, Rose Bowl, it's immediately you're going to, hey, it's college football, one day a year, and that's all that happens there. But yeah, these Super Bowls being played there, and 5 of them, that's my quick math, almost 10% of all Super Bowls are played in this one stadium, and that's pretty substantial.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe only New Orleans is hosted. Miami has hosted more, in those stadiums. I think Miami's been split between 2 venues, but New Orleans and stuff. So yeah, so it's got a lot of tradition, with the NFL. And like I said, that the biggest game of the NFL season is a Super Bowl, and like I said, we had some crowning. Now, the one disappointing thing I guess you could look at in those 5 games. The winner has won by more than double digits. So it's been great for those winning teams, not so good, competitive wise, it seems to be always a little bit one-sided.
So maybe the field's slightly slanted one way or something. Maybe, who knows? All those earthquakes out there, you never know what's happened.
Yeah. So
okay, well, the last game was in 1992. Do you know who played in that last Super Bowl?
Yeah, the last one was Super Bowl 27, and that was the beginning of the resurgence of the Cowboys, sort of newer dynasty, when they played the Buffalo Bills. The Bills were appearing in their 3rd one in a row. Looked like they were going to finally maybe get over the hump. The Cowboys were sort of, they had just upset the Niners 2 weeks before, and the jury was still out as how good the Cowboys were, under Jimmy Johnson. And it was pretty much, a one-sided affair. I think the Cowboys scored 52 points, won pretty easily. I think that one is known for a play late in the game where Leon Lett, picks up the fumble, tries to run it back for a touchdown. He puts the ball out, and Don Beebe runs it down and knocks the ball out of his hands through the end zone. So the hustle play by Don Beebe, but it was sort of one-sided. Troy Aikman, through multiple touchdowns, was the MVP of the game, and so and then obviously they went on to win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, but that was the last one there at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, it's easy for us to forget how poor of a team the Cowboys were just a year or two before that. I believe they have like 1 win that before Jimmy Johnson came in, or Jimmy Johnson's first year, something like that. And then they became just such a dynasty with that, centered on that Herschel Walker trade. It's just unbelievable. And that we now think of them, as a dynasty, but at the time they were one of the weaker teams in the National Football League, probably.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy's first year, in 1989 was 1-15, and here they're like, Jerry Jones bought the team. He hires his buddy from University of Arkansas to run the team, and they go 1-15. Aikman gets beat up. It's the number 1 overall pick, but you're right. Like the Herschel Walker trade, they draft Emmitt Smith, and he gets all those extra picks, and he pays them off. Like I said, literally 2 years later from 1990, they're winning that Super Bowl there in the Rose Bowl.
And I also like to point out, Troy Aikman's center was Mark Stepnoski, who graduated high school with me here in Erie. We went to the same high school, so we always paid attention to what was going on with Mark too. So that's a great thing.
Sure.
Great Panther too. So, okay. So that's one of the 5 Super Bowls. What are some of the other Super Bowls that were played at the venue?
Yeah. I mean, it's a unique sort of collection of games, if you want to just break it down that way. The very first one was Super Bowl 11, after the 76 season, because I think when you look at them, especially the remaining 4, it was a lot of first Super Bowl wins for sort of Hall of Fame coaches and these franchises. And that was the Raiders' first, Lombardi trophy, with John Madden. John Madden's one Super Bowl win. They beat the Vikings pretty convincingly, with Fred Blitnikoff as MVP. Then the next one was a couple years later. After the 79 season, you had the Steelers winning their fourth Lombardi trophy, over the Los Angeles Rams, with Terry Bradshaw winning the MVP. Then the third one was the Redskins against the Dolphins, during the strike shortened season, Super Bowl 17, which was Joe Gibbs's first title. And then a couple years later, you had the Giants in Super Bowl 21, defeating the Broncos, and that was the Giants and Bill Parcells' first title. So, so Madden won his first, title. Gibbs won his first title there at the Rose Bowl, and so did, Bill Parcells. And obviously the Raiders winning their first, and the Giants winning their first, titles. So, even, those 5 games, when you look at, they weren't the most competitive, but they had a lot of, like I said, great Hall of Famers, great names. I mean, the John Riggins run, you had Phil Sims's great day, Harry Carson with the Gatorade dunk at the end of Super Bowl 21, then you had Aikman and the Cowboys. So, sort of bringing the Dallas Cowboys franchise back to prominence. And so there's some really good legacy, games there that people will remember, for a long time.
Yeah, it's a special place. It's almost magical. I mean, I've never been there personally, but just everything you read about, and you look back some of these, even these NFL games that you're talking about, these Super Bowls. That's a highest stage anyway. But to have some of these great players like you talk about, there's some of these great collegiate plays that happen there. It's just a special place. And I can see why it would be attractive to the NFL, especially, back in the first 30, 40 years of the Super Bowls. Now with these high cost luxury stadiums, it's maybe not a great place to put an NFL fan in anymore, because we're spoiled and going to all these beautiful modern stadiums. But just the architecture and the nostalgia of playing in the Rose Bowl has had to be something special for the players.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think nowadays with the NFL, like, it would be unique to see how a team would react, or how, this generation of players would react to playing in the Rose Bowl. But in the 70s and 80s, and even like 92, the Rose Bowl still had, big cachet, and the name was still powerful. Especially those ones in the 70s and in the 80s, like, it was premier. And when you see the crowds there, I mean, I think the first 4 games got over like 102,000 fans. Like, you're not going to get that nowadays. They're going to get 75, maybe 80, and and then I think the 92 game, or after the 92, the Cowboys, that was like almost 93,000 fans, and that's pretty unique. Those are like, for the largest stadium crowds for a Super Bowl. I mean, the Rose Bowl routinely gets 100,000, on January 1st or around there now. But those games getting 103,000, was huge for the NFL. I mean, that was not common. I mean, the Orange Bowl and Tulane Stadium, I mean, those weren't quite in the 100,000s that the Rose Bowl was getting. So it's definitely a unique venue, even for, the NFL side of history.
Yeah, and I'm sure probably in those earlier Super Bowls, the gate receipt that they got was probably a lot more important to the NFL than it is nowadays. The TV contracts are just enormous, and selling tickets is probably minute. It's an important part, but it's minute compared to their overall revenue they're getting probably for a Super Bowl game, just from advertisers and television rights, I'm sure. But these stadiums, probably facilities, are probably archaic, probably to the modern NFL player who is a bit more pampered with the more modern luxury locker rooms and facilities that they have there. I'm sure that's probably part of it too.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves the new technology and what these stadiums can do, and some of these older stadiums have had to adapt to that. So. Whether it's Lambeau Field in Green Bay or Soldier Field in Chicago, they've had to redo some things and had to sort of modernize it to help, with what the new stadiums have and what they can provide and stuff. So, and I'm sure the Rose Bowl has tried to keep that up, to sort of continue these sort of big venue games.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while we have you on, why don't we take the opportunity to just briefly give us a inside the dust cover version of your new book. And I know we covered it pretty thoroughly, but maybe some listeners didn't catch that episode yet. And where folks can get your book.
Yeah, the new book is on Bronco Nagurski, the charter member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We played 9 years with the Chicago Bears. So it's a biography on him. And if you're looking to learn a little more history, about the early years and the players playing two ways, and obviously he had a great career. He was also a championship wrestler, so there's a little bit of those stories in there to give you a little bit of more well-rounded sort of thing of who Bronco was, and stuff. So you can get it on rowan.com. That's ROWMAN.com. That's the publisher's website. And you can also get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble's website too. So if you have discounts on there, that'll help. So, but it just came out in August, so it still hasn't, it's only been out for 2 months. So, so it's still making the rounds.
And it's a fantastic Christmas gift for that football historian lover in your life, or for yourself too. But a great stocking stuffer that somebody would really be a treat for them to open up Christmas morning. So it's a very good book. So folks, take advantage of this great history that Chris is providing there. Chris, really appreciate you coming on here talking about some Rose Bowl history and helping us celebrate the 100th birthday of the Rose Bowl Stadium and bringing this NFL twist to it with these 5 great Super Bowls you discussed tonight.
No, thanks for having me. Like I said, it's a unique birthday. I mean, you only turn 100 once. So the Rose Bowl should be proud of that. And like I said, glad you're taking a look at some of the history and not just the college game, but the NFL too. So thanks for getting that history out there.
Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, a.k.a. the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.